Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hello Word. I'm Alex, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join me for another episode where we dissect a fascinating English word. Today, we're diving into the word confine. Confine, as a verb at the C1 level, means to keep within limits, restrict or restrain. It implies a sense of restriction or limitation, whether physical or metaphorical. Think about it like keeping something or someone within boundaries. So, what does confine really mean in everyday language? Well, we use it when we talk about limiting someone's movement, like saying someone is confined to a wheelchair. Or, we use it to describe limiting the spread of something, like trying to confine a fire. We can also use it in a more abstract sense, such as confining ourselves to a particular topic in a conversation. Now, let's explore some synonyms that capture the essence of confine. One useful synonym is restrict. For example, the new regulations restrict access to the building after 6 p.m. Another synonym is limit. We could say, I must limit my spending this month. Another great synonym is restrict. Consider this. The doctor advised him to restrict his salt intake. Then we have imprison, which emphasizes a more severe form of restriction. For instance, the captured soldiers were imprisoned in the camp. Lastly, think about constrain. A good example is, lack of funding will constrain the project scope. Now, let's look at some antonyms, words with opposite meanings to confine, to help clarify the nuances of the word. A primary antonym is free. The bird was finally free from its cage. Another antonym is release, as in, the hostages were released unharmed. Then we have liberate. Consider this example. Education can liberate people from ignorance. Another antonym is expand. Like in the sentence, the company plans to expand its operations next year. Finally, think about extend. We might say, they decided to extend the deadline for applications. So, how can we use confine in everyday life? Well, if you're feeling under the weather, you might say, I'm confined to my bed with a cold. Or, if you're working on a project, you might confine your research to specific journals. You could also hear someone say, let's try to confine our discussion to the main points. A common expression is he was confined to barracks, meaning he was punished by being made to stay in the barracks. Let's delve into some more usage examples. You might say, the dog is confined to the backyard, or the patient is confined to a special diet. Another example could be, the debate should be confined to the specific resolution. Another example, his artistic style is not confined by traditional rules. Think about the phrase, confined space. This refers to an enclosed area with limited entry and exit. Or they tried to confine the oil spill. Another one is, the prisoner was confined to his cell for 23 hours a day. One more example. Let's confine our attention to the key issues. Remember, confine is all about limits and restrictions. We discussed its definition, synonyms like restrict, limit, imprison and constrain, and antonyms like free, release, liberate, expand, and extend. We also looked at how it's used in everyday conversations and common expressions. Thanks so much for joining me on Hello Word today. Before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review. Your support helps others discover our show and learn together. And now, I have a challenge for you. Try to create your own sentence using the word confine and share it in the comments section below. I'm really excited to see what you come up with. See you next time on Hello Word.